Hi, welcome to Manga Alert Podcast. This is Season 4, Episode 3. I am your host, Taz. And,
what host?
I'm the new fucking host.
But you're the old host.
I am the old host. Oh, God.
That doesn't make you a host again.
Let's not forget, we kicked you off for a reason, Taz.
Yeah,
you betrayed the Brotherhood.
He hadn't read One Piece.
I still haven't read One Piece.
By showing us Death Note's advanced binding technology, you have forever scarred and tarnished the likelihood of Death Note ever obtaining elite status, especially with you saying that Light Yagami was justified.
Well, Taz, hold on. Taz, here's what you have to do to get into One Piece. You have to start with Thriller Bark.
That is true.
Just start on volume 46.
The man who took your job said it best, Taz.
Oh shit! See okay. You know what, Gear? Roll the intro.
Wow, you called the theme song too. You're really taking over.
Yeah, the theme song is fucking iCarly theme song.
I'm pretty sure I feel like we've used that before.
I think we did use that. We used that in season. It was the Phoenix episode. It was the out of print episode. Now that I remember it, we used that opening. Yeah. Don't ask how I remember that.
Then we can use the recess episode. The recess
you know what? It's already too late. End the fucking bit. We're done with that. Taz, you had your moment in the spotlight. Anyways,
I haven't done this in years. Okay.
Welcome to Manga Alert. Welcome to the #1 manga podcast here on YouTube
and Spotify.
Joining us today, our long-time friend of the Manga Alert podcast, our first ever host that we had here on the show, besides myself here in Gear, Taz, who was part of the Main Boys way back in the day when we were first doing this, back in Season 1. How does it feel to be back here, Taz? How does it feel to be in the light of all of your fellow co-host and manga enthusiasts? And who the fuck put their phone on the Manga Alert podcast?
That was not me.
But it looked like you.
It's been forever. I really miss you guys. It feels like I've missed a lot of drama and fun things.
Trying to change the subject from his phone going off.
We don't have to talk about my phone going off because nothing. No,
he's a default iPhone boy. You can tell he's got the most basic ringtone set to his phone. Like, come on.
I haven't changed my ringtone in years. I still have the iPhone 6s Plus because I'm a basic bitch.
Oof.
Yuck.
3G baby. All right.
You may miss us now, but I'm pretty sure we're all going to hate each other by the end of this one.
Oh, no, we definitely are. We definitely are.
Yes. Well, because this will be the last episode Taz will ever be on, because he won't even be on until Season 8, whenever that is, you know?
Oh, Season 8's going to be fun. We're gonna have special guest Vic Mignogna.
Yeah.
He's not going to have anything else to do, you know, so...
You know, at this point, he may just come on. He's got nothing better to do.
Got to give him some work. We'll chip in, boys. We'll $10 coupon to Applebee's. I think we can all handle that. All right. Anyways.
No, it has to. No, it's just the unlimited breadsticks. We just give them that.
We got to get this fucking intro going. All right. So okay. we got Apollo joining us again, our longtime co-host joining us yet again for this wonderful episode of Manga
What's
Alert.
Up, boys and girls?
Welcome back,
everyone's
Apollo.
favorite character.
Always good to have you here. Cool kid, loves you. I mean, our fan base loves you. I mean, they consider you one of the best hosts here at Manga Alert. So we're happy to get you here.
I'm pretty sure that's the worst attempt at anyone blowing gas at my fucking ass.
Apollo, you ruined that.
I think every time a podcast comes out and people see Apollo's attached, we lose like 200 potential views.
That's fine. I'll
I completely agree with that.
From me.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like everyone actually literally hates me, and I love that. That
you're
gives
the
me so much
community's
happiness.
'1 villain, Apollo. Got to carry. You gotta.
I don't
you
even
gotta carry
understand
that
why.
hashtag with you to the grave. The #1 villain.
I think the hate will be even more justified after the current episode.
Yes, Light Yagami was
hot
justified.
takes.
Let's continue.
You have no
So
idea.
we're going to be talking about hot takes today. We all have prepared a list of our own manga hot takes, and we also have. I asked people on Twitter not too long ago to give me some, and they did. So.
Can I begin the discussions?
I think it's appropriate that we do a roundtable discussion. So Apollo, if you want to go ahead first, we'll follow with you, Taz, Shrug, Gear, and then finally saving the best for last. You got to have me, of course, give you the number one. I am the number one manga connoisseur of the manga community. So,
yeah, sure.
All right, Apollo, you start the shit show.
So I have several, but I'll start nice and soft.
That's what
I personally think that JoJo is mid at best.
Now, be specific. Like, what parts do you think are mid at best? Because
originally I thought JoJo Part 1 was terrible, and I still think it's decent, but I didn't really care for it. I read Part 2, not to mention I skipped.
That's not very hot.
Hold on. Originally
Did you say skip?
Hold on. Originally I skipped to Part 4. Right? I never read Part 1, Part 2, whatever. So I read the first volume of Part 4. You guys told me, no. So I read Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, and I'm about to start Part 5. But none of it has been good. Like, none of it. Not even Part 4 has been fun for me. I don't know what anybody sees in it. Like, the stands are pretty cool. It reminds me of Persona, kind of, ish. Not really, but kind of.
But JoJo came out first, so technically Persona ripped off JoJo.
But I played Persona games before I ever read whatever. But I don't know. Like, I feel like JoJo is so hyped that I went into it expecting something better, and it was mid.
Well, but Apollo, it gets good at volume 104? Is that Steel Ball Run? Or is that when Steel Ball Run ends? Either way,
isn't Steel Ball Run like a remake? A redo? Rehash?
No, not real. I mean, like, it takes elements.
It's a new take on the JoJo universe. So think of it as an alternate universe to Part 1 and where it's set, because I believe it takes place in, 19...
Yeah, I think it takes place, like, around the same time Part 1 did, but it's not...
different characters.
It's a new story
but it uses similar assets from the JoJo universe as a whole, essentially.
And it's amazing. So just get to there, and then you'll see what we're talking
even
about.
Base can't argue because it's got one of the highest mouse scores out of any manga series. So I mean, he can't put it down. So
I feel like he finds ways to argue though, because even though one of his favorite manga is like below a 7.5, he's like, but sales is fine. It's fine.
He'll just say if he doesn't like. I don't know what he thinks of JoJo, but if he says like he doesn't like Part 7, we'll bring up the Mal score, and then he'll just be like, "Oh well, it's not good enough for an English release yet, so it must be bad."
So here's what we got to have on the base checklist. It's got to have an English release. It's got to have above an 8 on Mal, and then it also has to have probably the highest number 1 sales for that given year that it was being printed for, or I should say years, because over time, I mean, the series was getting a volume maybe every year or so. So. There you go. All right, Apollo. That was a. We're getting there. We're getting to some hot takes. Taz, do you have something to spice up the night a little bit further?
I have two. One of them is an anime because I'm that person, and then one of them's a manga.
All right. Someone's gonna give us the manga one first, because we're only gonna be doing one for now, because we gotta keep going around.
I didn't like Bleach as much as everyone did. I still tried to read it. I read like volume 1. I couldn't do it. And I feel like everyone's going to hate me for that, but I really don't care.
With how Bleach goes, I don't really care when people say they couldn't get into it, because I'm just like, you know what? You might have dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
Cause...
It's like when people ask me if they should watch Bleach or not, I always tell them, like, the Soul Society arc is fantastic, but then, like, the other 2/3 of the series is just kind of...
Well, it doesn't get, like,
good.
super bad right away, but it does later. It
slowly declines enough for me to be like, you really don't want to get too invested for it just to turn.
Yeah, the problem, like, I would have no problem saying, like, only read Soul Society, but the problem is that, like, it ends on a cliffhanger, so it's like, most people are going to be like, "Oh, this is so good! I have to see what happens." And I'm like,
A
"Do you
20
really?"
volume
Well, I mean,
cliffhanger. Gotta love it.
If you read the first 48 volumes, you're still gonna leave
Yeah.
probably unsatisfied, but you'll be
the
more
next act
satisfied.
isn't like the worst thing. Like it has some good moments. It also has some really dumb moments,
Yeah.
but it's like
That means you just have to read it
Indeed,
all.
to the end.
Well, you know what? Just take Shrug's advice and read Fullbring first, and then go back to Soul Society.
yeah, just
And
read-
then you'll start.
It's actually
you'll
a
start
really good
yourself
idea.
Off on like
Yeah.
the worst possible arc in Bleach, and then you'll end on the best. So that's actually a pretty smart idea.
that is true. That
Think
is
about
true.
it.
I feel like that's kind of like the Thriller Bark thing.
I'm really excited for the Blood War anime, not to watch it, but just to see people's reactions when so many people realize how bad it is.
You do realize that all these people are like bossing
Yeah,
say
okay.
level.
I know. I know. There's always going to be people who like will stand it no matter what. But I mean,
No.
surely some people are gonna be like, "Hold up, this is kind of
think-
sucks."
No, I'm like 85% sure like James Hansen over the last 6 years or 5 years or whatever has like kidnapped these people, put them in front of a rotating light, and told them Bleach is amazing.
I think that was probably my favorite take I saw on Twitter. What was his name? James Hansen, who tweeted, like, I can't believe all these people like reading Demon Slayer Kaka when Bleach is honestly one of the best series
I know.
ever.
That was-
I can't understand the logic. Like,
Yeah.
how, okay, you start out strong and then you end up with a trash take at the end of that by comparing Bleach and Demon Slayer. I mean, if you really want to get technical, like, Demon Slayer has probably outsold Bleach in its short
Probably.
lifespan of 20 volumes, where Bleach has had a
Yeah,
total
and-
of 74. Like, that's just, it's stupid. I don't know.
Has it hit the 50 million mark yet?
Oh my god, yes. Like yeah.
For me,
overall.
Bleach was like a watered down version of Samurai Champloo.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
That's just
I
my
think the
opinion.
closer comparison would be like Yu Yu Hakusho if we're really getting into
I haven't watched that. I've been meaning
shame,
to.
shame,
People just love taking Togashi's ideas and
and just taking a spin on it, you know.
I mean, I can see Yu Yu Hakusho a little bit better than Samurai Champloo, but I still can't see it. Yu Yu Hakusho is what's...
See, if I probably
See-
watched Yu Yu Hakusho, I probably would say the same thing. But I have not
Yeah.
watched that.
You should
how
definitely
about
should.
how about Bone Collection?
Oh,
which is,
yeah.
Oh,
Right.
that's-
I've never
that's
heard of that. I
behind-
have never heard of it.
New Big Three,
Behind
baby.
Mori King, Bone Collector is like the best thing.
Yeah, Bone Collection is a Jump series that just started. It has 2 chapters, and it was basically just like a worse version of Bleach, kind of like Black Torch. Although Black Torch was like much more of a direct knockoff from the one chapter I read.
Yeah.
But Bone Collection also has some Bleach vibes, which not good Bleach vibes,
Yeah.
like lazy Bleach vibes.
I think you should talk to LC about Black Torch. I think he read the whole thing. All
The
5
whole
volumes.
thing, all 5 volumes of it.
Yeah. I think he said it was really good.
Yeah, I've only read the 1 chapter, so I can't comment on it all. But like, I just remember it being like, "Oh my, this is so shameless." It like, you know,
Yeah,
when Bleach
yeah.
starts, like the first thing is like people are like, well, like, yeah, like a ghost girl or something is being harassed, and Ichigo's like, "I can talk to ghosts, so I'm gonna help you," right?
Yeah.
It's like the exact same thing, except this guy can talk to animals. So he's like, I can talk to animals, I'll help you."
He's
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
yeah,
read
like
the
I said-
first volume, and it was really interesting, but I didn't think it was good enough to continue. So
Well, I heard like it did get canceled, but I heard because it's a monthly series, they had more time to like plan out an ending. So I heard like it doesn't feel like it got canceled, even though it was.
maybe
So
I
at
don't
least
know.
there's that.
I think I might pick it up next
All right,
year.
Shrug, what is your hot take?
You know, it's not like a super earth-shattering one, but mine is. I don't think Blue Exorcist is as bad as everyone says it to be. I don't
completely
think,
agree.
Like, I don't think that it's necessarily like a super, like one of the best, but I don't really think that it's as bad as everybody paints it.
Yeah, same. It's same with Twin Star as well. Like Blue Exorcist and Twin Star, like they don't have the best story, but the art and some of the character development makes it up for me.
All right, Gear, shed some light on these hot takes.
I saw the Blue Exorcist anime like years ago, and I remember thinking it was fine except for the ending, but that was an original ending it got. But and And like at one point, like while I was reading it, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is so cool," and I like bought a couple volumes of the manga. But then like after a while, I like reread them, and I was like, "Yeah, well, this is whatever." Like it wasn't terrible. It was just like there's so many other things I could be reading.
Yeah, and I I can kind of agree with you. The beginning of it is kind of wishy-washy, but once you get into the Kyoto stuff, I think it's like what, like volume 5, volume 6, and then on past that, it has its ups and downs, but
I
it's pretty
know, yeah,
much
I know they
all
brought the
full
anime
throttle.
back for that. Oh my god, and I hate it. Like they had like an original ending for the first season, but then they went,
And then they had to retcon.
yeah, then they went back to the manga. So
Yeah.
it's just like, yeah, just forget about. I hate it when that happens. Like,
Yeah, like the first season of the anime is the first 5 volumes of the manga, but and so that's like not a lot. And then I think the second season is like volume 6 to like 13. Like it's a really short amount of time that they cover, but it's I do agree that the stuff after like volume 6 is better than the beginning stuff, but I still like the concept. I think the beginning, like the first volume, I think the first volume is pretty good.
The first volume is pretty good. The second and third volume is good, but it has some ups and downs, and then fourth and fifth is meh because they're still at school during this time. But then like after, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're still in school through most of the series, but after they go to Kyoto and have to, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but basically starting at the Kyoto arc is when it really picks up because they do more than just, oh, we're here at school learning, or we're having to go do this or do that inside of this, whatever.
Well,
If you read it,
I
you'll
watched
understand what I
a
mean.
few episodes of the anime and I thought it was pretty bad garbage. So
Well, you think anything like released
Although,
after 1961 is garbage, so.
I know my roommate watched that anime. He enjoyed it, but he likes simplistic stuff. So
Normie.
Normie.
All right, Gear. Let's get the fire going.
I don't think you guys know any of this, but so mine is the final arc in Demon Slayer is not only the best one in the series, but it's one of the best battle manga final arcs that I've ever read.
Oh, you are talking
go.
some bullshit right now,
Yeah,
bud.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Now let me
not.
be clear at first. Saying it's one of the best battle manga endings isn't saying much because I looked at like all the battle manga that I've read and I'm like, oh yeah, that had a good ending. Oh, that's about it. Because like, so it's not like super
Okay.
high praise, but I did think I recently read the whole series and I did think that the final arc was better, which was surprising because so many people I saw didn't like the final arc, and when I read it, I was like, "What do you mean? This is way better than the series has ever been." There you
So,
go.
what are we considering battle manga? Because right now I'm thinking like not only like the typical like, Naruto, Bleach, whatever, but I'm also thinking about like Full Metal Alchemist. I'm thinking about
Yeah, like, well, that's the thing. I wouldn't say it's better than Full Metal. I said like one of the
FMA
best.
is
Like, I
not
mean,
a
there's a
battle
handful
manga.
of really good ones. Well,
Like, if
I
we're
mean,
talking
yeah,
battle
I
manga,
would
you're
say
it's
like
battle
Shaman
manga.
King, Yu Yu Hakusho, anything that has like a massive tournament arc in it, like
Yeah.
is considered to be
That's a lot of shonen.
Well,
battle manga.
well,
Like,
Demon
and
Slayer
not only
doesn't
that,
have a
but you're,
tournament
like
arc,
to
but
be fair, like I don't think you've
One
read like
Piece, Dragon
many
Ball.
battle series.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. I'm not saying it's like not super high praise saying
Yeah.
it's one of the best ones, but the thing is, like, I had such low expectations for it because, like, I thought most of the series was just fine, but like, but yeah, like when I was
Like Battle Royale, that's a
I
battle
can't talk
manga.
today. I
Like-
saw-
Oh, that's definitely a
Yeah.
battle manga.
I
I
saw-
love that series.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
as this final arc was going on, all I saw were like people like, oh, this is drawn out too long. Oh, there's gonna be like ass pulls.
So
and
here's how we
stuff,
can make
and
that a
I'm
hot
like, oh
take.
god,
then.
this is.
Do you think it's better than Battle Royale?
You better not say no. Everybody-
Well, it's been too long since I've read Battle Royale, so I can't really.
Do you think it's better than Soul Eater?
The ending or the full series?
The ending.
The ending, or Demon Slayer.
Uh,
Listen, the thing was, like, I was really expecting it to be bad, but it was just a really, like, consistently fast-paced, everything about it made sense. Like, I was convinced they were going to have an ass pull at the end, but when they didn't, I was like, oh, that actually really makes a lot of sense. and then I'm like, oh, but there's going to be an ass pull for how this character can survive, and then I'm like, oh wait, that actually makes a lot of sense, and it all like wrapped up really nicely, and I was very pleasantly surprised. I thought it had a very good ending.
So
and,
what you're
it was definitely the best part of the series.
So what you're saying is the first 16 volumes were terrible, but the ending made up for it.
It gets good in the last arc. No, like I didn't think it was bad, but like I just thought like it started kind of lame and then it just became okay. But I thought the final arc was really good. The stakes were super high. It was very surprising with some of the decisions they made. And and we talked like a couple of weeks ago about like how it's ending. Like it only has one chapter left, and we were wondering if it was going to like be open for a sequel or something. It definitely won't be. Like this is one of the most definitive.
They're all gonna die.
Endings
They're all dead.
To a series like this. Well, I don't. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess.
So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised. So there you go.
I don't want to read it because I know I'm not going to enjoy it. So I'm just going to take your word for it.
I want to read it. I really want to watch the series and read it one of these days. Honestly, when I first watched it, when it like first came out, I was expecting it to be sort of like a Berserk, also like a fairy tale. I don't know why. That's the first thing I thought of.
I really miss you on this show because you take the most simple series that is not the most likely series to be what that series is going to be.
You know what?
Go with it. I miss you, man.
I'm very simplistic, and I base those off of shows I did like.
You know,
past,
I really hope Sailor Moon turns into Vagabond. Wouldn't that be super awesome?
Yes, I would love that actually.
Oh man. All right. Well, I guess I'll roll with mine. I'm pretty sure everyone can predict what I'm about to say, so it really. I'm just gonna come off and say
I can predict
I think
many
My Hero
things.
Academia is overrated trash. I don't like it. I think it's a piece of shit. And if you read it and you like it and you enjoy it, that's cool. But considering it one of your top favorite series or like the top best shonen manga of all time is such an overhyped take. Like, I cannot agree with anyone who thinks that show or manga is good and at least top 10 worthy of it ever having that name. So
see the sad thing is if it was like 3 or 4 years ago, I would have agreed with you, and now I don't.
Well.
So this was actually one of my hot takes. I think I agree with you to a certain extent, Shaman, because I think that it's definitely, I don't think it's garbage. I really like My Hero Academia, but I do agree that it got way more hype, and it still gets way more hype than it's needed to. I think it's like really good, but I don't think that it's like the best of all time, and I don't think people should be marching around being like, it's the #1 shonen ever. And I'm like, what?
Well, if you think back to like 2013, right? Attack on Titan got the same amount of hype, if not more. But this series is so much better than Attack on Titan is back in that point, right? So Attack on Titan was good, just like My Hero Academia is, but the only difference is that now, My Hero Academia didn't have like a 5-year fucking gap between its anime seasons. So now it's like back to back to back to back anime seasons, and anime boosted up, 10 times. And I think that's the main reason why it's getting so much attention. I personally love My Hero Academia. It's not in my top 10 or my top 20 by any means, but it's definitely something very close to my heart. I love the characters. I love how the main character doesn't get random bullshit. Like Fairy Tail, for instance. Friendship is power.
I mean,
the whole
wasn't
journey
the
is
point
just a
of the
friend from the
character
other
was
way.
that he didn't have powers or like nothing was special about this character, but he ends up
So-
having something special happen to him in the first place? Isn't that like the point?
So basically, what happens is he doesn't have powers. He's born without a superpower. But he risked his life to try to save his friend that's being like gobbled up by this goo. And the #1 superhero is like dying anyway. Like he knows his time is limited, and he's basically. So like he sees this, like he I don't think he knows this kid's quirkless, but he figures it out.
We all know the story. He gives the kid his quirk, and that's it.
Yeah, basically. So like he basically gives him his quirk, and lets him inherit
but
it.
he can't use it because he sucks, so he has to
Yeah, so
slowly get better with it over time.
The first 20 volumes is him training himself how to use it, and in fact he's still training it. He can't use it to 100% still. So the whole story is him becoming a superhero. And to me, if I don't know if you've ever seen read Invincible or read any of the other indie superhero comics, it's similar to that, but this is so much better. If you actually sat down and read it, I think you would love it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Shaman would, but
I think more so. Hang on, Garrett. I think more so my issue with My Hero Academia is from the volumes that I've read of the series is that I feel that not only does it just borrow so much of its assets and storytelling and direction for shonen manga from other series that I've read and that I know are better than this particular manga series. I can't get behind the fact that people consider this to be original. This is oh my god, this shonen is going to be the face of what shonen manga is in today's world. And it's
well, it kind of is.
It's no, none of this is original. None of this is so fresh out of the box that it's going to be the new hit standard for shonen manga until the end of time. If anything that My Hero has going for it is the fact that it sells well, but that's really all about. That's pretty much the only thing it has going for itself is it sells well.
Well, I can kind of agree with you on that. I think it does. I mean, every single superhero comic in the entire universe has borrowed things. So that's not really a hot take or
just
something.
Just every manga ever coming out. I mean, it's more how it uses stuff. Instead of directly plagiarizing stuff, it you gotta give a new spin on things, which I think it does for the most part.
But even that, I can make a comparison to Sky High.
Okay, yeah, I will
Absolutely
agree.
not.
That was probably the number one inspiration. Very reminiscent of Sky High, but
And if you want to go even deeper, X-Men, almost exactly like that. I mean, this is something
that I don't agree with.
This is something
that
that just borrows so much in all aspects of Western and Eastern influence, combines it into one thing, and it was able to capture the minds of people both that were casual manga fans and then people that were already fans of shonen battle manga from the get-go.
Shaman, you're really gonna hate Texas, but there is 2 cons that dedicated itself to only being a My Hero con,
and that's
and they're and at that point I'm like, why? Because it's gonna end soon. You're gonna just keep on doing that. You're milking people's money.
But going back to what you said about it borrowing things and everything else, I do agree that it borrowed a bunch of its assets from other things, just like many other things have. But my biggest thing with it is how it used those assets. So in this world, it made it to where, and a couple, very few superhero stories or stories with people with power have done this, but they made it to where the majority of people had quirks, and it there are so many varied weird quirks, and there's so many overpowered quirks and underpowered quirks and quirks that are useless, and how they use those quirks and everything else is what made me fall in love with the story.
I think there are some really interesting powers, and it's not like we've never seen variations of these before, because a lot of them we have, but it's the way and how they're often connected to biology. When I always like to bring up his Bakugos, who can create explosions, and how he does it is because he basically ignites his sweat, basically. So
he's instead of sweating sodium,
so
he
for
sweats
his power, he has it so he has these giant gloves that when he sweats, it basically stores and builds them up, so he can create big explosions. Stuff like that, I think is really cool.
Yeah, and I think my favorite power, and we'll end this bit here in a second, but I think my favorite power of the entire series was honestly Ida. I think Ida.
Oh, the
where he has literally engines in his fucking legs. I fucking love that.
Yeah, there's so much just weird stuff. People have especially if you look in like the background shots of the anime, they just have like a bunch of random people there, and there's like a guy who has like a pencil sharpener for a face, a guy who has like a chicken for a face.
I think my favorite quirk is Deku's mom's quirk. It's just literally just to pull small objects to her. So
yeah. But anyway, I want to say my piece. Another take I had written down is My Hero was better than One Piece, which, you know,
I completely agree with that.
That is bullshit.
Yeah, no, you see,
that is 100%
here's the thing.
true.
Here's the thing. When I look at My Hero, I'm looking at it on my shelf now. Like, I mean, like in comparison, both series. I mean, like One Piece, I think definitely has bigger highs, but My Hero has more of them, and they're all like compact together. Like this, it's a very fast-paced series. Even the arcs that I don't love, like there are some arcs that are like, they're only like a volume or two long at most, and I don't know. It just it's so like well paced, like they're introducing things in a great way, and like most of the problems I had with the series early on are gone now. Mainly like the villains kind of sucking. Like they were always probably the lamest thing about the series until recently, because I don't know if anyone is caught up. And I don't think that it's a hot take to say like it's probably in the best part of the series, like the best it's ever been right now, because the villains are finally like good. They've had a ton of development, a ton of shit's going down, and it's really exciting. And I think like in the next few chapters, there's going to be a huge turning point. So yeah,
you would
and
say
it's
that
only
the
like,
world building in My Hero Academia is better than in One Piece.
Well, no. No, like there are like I said, I think One Piece has like Paramount War. I don't think anything in My Hero has been that good, but you know when I look at One Piece as a whole, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of really good moments, but there's also like maybe 20 volumes that I just don't care about.
So you're not counting individual like
like if I
story
broke it
factors.
down piece by piece. If I broke it down piece by piece, but like I would much rather read like the weakest arcs in My Hero than like Dressrosa again. So
yeah, and the other thing that I want to say is if you look at it, and I'm not even going to bring Cells into it, but because My Hero Academia would never win, but if you think of it like this, like My Hero is what 31 volumes now, 30 volumes,
27.
So My Hero's 30 volumes versus One Piece's first 30 volumes. My Hero wins by a landslide in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I also
because the first like Baruch works, and I don't think Skypiea was it like in the 20 volumes to like 40 volumes somewhere in there.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I wouldn't, like I said, like when I look at One Piece, the parts I really really love don't happen until like we were years into the series. Like Water 7, like Impel Down, Paramount War. Like I mean, My Hero's probably gonna be over by then. So that's why I hate when people are like, "Oh, My Hero's good, but just give it more time so it reaches the levels of Naruto." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
It's far surpassed
running for
Naruto
so long at this point.
So in One Piece, you even said it yourself with My Hero, is that there aren't any real memorable villains or good memorable moments in the first quarter of the series. Yet, right off the bat, One Piece continues its world building, continues to develop really amazing side characters that aren't the main cast of characters, and then not only that, but grows upon that. So what does My Hero do
it's not to say
in those
it's bad.
regards? Does it continue to have really good introductions to side characters, world building, and continues to rock it even 80 plus volumes in? Because even at the weakest moments in One Piece, which again, Dressrosa and Thriller Bark and Skypiea, it still continues to have one continuous aspect of why One Piece is so great, in that it continues world building and introducing side characters. So I don't know. I totally disagree with that take. I think My Hero is trash compared to One Piece.
Honestly, yeah, it is. It's definitely it's on the hot take list for a reason. Whenever I make like a top manga video and My Hero is like above a bunch of stuff, I'll get like people mad at me. But I'm like, hey, that's how I feel. So
Simon, I do agree that My Hero doesn't have good world building. I do agree with that. One Piece does excel in that, but with villains or like whatever, I think My Hero has it beat.
But hold on,
I agree
Taz,
too.
are you caught up
With One Piece
in the manga
or with
in the manga or
with
My Hero?
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
caught up
manga?
with My Hero.
In the manga, like.
Oh no,
current-
no.
So
I thought you meant
you
the
don't
anime.
even.
No, I'm not.
You don't even
caught
know.
up.
We have a take from.
Shut up.
Yeah, we have a
Yeah.
we have a take from Twitter that we'll read after, but like they're like the villains. If you thought the villains were good,
Yeah.
like after like season 4, like there is basically. I don't think this is really a spoiler, but basically there's a full arc that only focuses on the League of Villains.
Another
and it
shonen
Is it
trope.
bad?
It is so
Leagues,
good.
Amazing.
Leagues, the
It's
Akatsuki, the Arankar, Soul Society. Oh, I love,
Wait,
I love the shonen trope of just villains being in a mass organization.
Are you saying that the I'm guessing this is gonna be season 5, but it's just literally it's not gonna like
Yeah.
it's not gonna
Yes.
like have character growth with like the League of
Yeah.
Villains at all. It's just like literally just like them. Oh, they're evil.
it's-
or whatever.
No, it's
no,
like
it's
a full.
it's their
It's basically their arc to develop them.
Oh,
and,
that's stupid.
for-
Okay, that is stupid. Okay.
What? No, I'm saying that's a good thing. This is like
what?
one of the best arcs
No,
of the
it's
series.
amazing. Like this is
It's-
probably the best part of My Hero
Yeah,
That's
Academia.
we're in it
that's
now, yeah.
that's actually the reason why I didn't really watch One Piece or what's it called One Punch Man season 2 because I didn't focus on Saitama.
Saitama?
But it was also terrible.
Saitama, whatever his fucking name.
I mean, but there's also a difference between like Saitama and like a big difference between One Punch Man and My Hero Academia and how they like develop.
Yeah, I mean
people,
it's a
because
comedy.
Saitama is like
Yeah.
he's the main star, but it's like if it was always on him, like that's like there's a reason why it's not always on him is because he's the overpowered
Yeah.
main character, and like that's if it was always on him, it would be like
Yeah.
normal shonen,
Right.
which focuses the main character on somebody who's extremely.
This is
OP.
why I'm not looking forward to My Hero Academia podcast too. Like I made a fucking bet
Oh, no.
that I would read some more volumes of this shit show. Ugh. And this is just making me
Like-
not really want to read it even more. This sounds awful.
But you see, like,
This sounds so
like
tropey.
that's the thing. Like, I didn't think the league was that like well developed at first, and so like when you see like oh they're getting a full arc to them, I was like eh. But like then they become well developed characters. So by the end, I'm like oh this is perfect. Now we have a well developed cast of
All right,
heroes and
Taz,
villains.
come
It's
on,
kinda like
drop some more
endless
fire.
end.
Let's move on. End the bit.
Okay, yeah.
That was
So
Taz,
whose turn is it
Apollo,
now?
Shrug,
Taz's?
and then Gear, and then myself.
I only have 2 things written down, and the other one's anime. I don't know if
I think we should move to the Twitter ones also because there's a lot.
should that be at the end.
Let's save Twitter for the end.
Well, but
let's
we don't know
continue.
how.
Let's continue
Yeah,
the
yeah.
round table. We'll
Oh,
do the
jeez.
Twitter at the end because we can do that in probably about 5-10 minutes.
Well, I don't know
We'll
about
do
that.
it
We
quick.
got a
We'll do
lot.
rapid fire.
Well, yeah, rapid fire, yeah. Well, if it is my turn, I'm going to say that people may not agree with me, but I think that School Days, the anime, is actually really good.
Unironically, might I add.
Unironically, I love that anime. I would
That's a name.
own
I
that
haven't
if
heard
I
that
could
name
buy
in
it.
forever.
Wait, before anybody says anything, tell them the other thing that you.
Was
Oh,
it?
shit,
Don't,
that
I
was
was gonna
gonna be my
say, don't you
ending
think
one.
Future Diary is like the best manga of all time? Or
That's actually exactly what he told me.
That was a while ago. I actually rewatched the series and I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I did. So
Well, no, I remember like in the first season, you guys did the Future Diary cast without me, and then we had to make. I disagreed with everyone so heavily. We had to make a part 2 where I just talked about how much I hated it, and then afterwards, you guys were like, "Okay, yeah, you're kind of right."
well, you know what? It doesn't matter because it got deleted anyway.
Hey,
that's
okay.
one of the Manga Alert lost episodes.
if I could re-find that up, I would upload it again. I would totally find it if I could.
The lost tapes.
The lost
Man,
tapes.
we had some good bits on that one. I can't remember, but I think Neptune had probably the hottest takes on that episode.
Oh
Like, I
yeah.
can't- he was just like, "Oh, Future Diary is the greatest of all time." By the way, that's also another battle shonen manga.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I can feel like Gear like popping a blood vessel after hearing like the Future
Well,
Diary.
yeah, he made a bit where he opens the video up. He's like, "Oh god, I had to sit here, editing a video for an hour. Oh god."
No, I agree with Gear now.
yeah.
I don't
School
like
Days?
Future Diary. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
The thing is, it makes complete sense to me about how they react, the pressure put on the girls, and the Makoto or whatever his fucking name is being an idiot. It made sense to me. They were all in high school, middle school, whatever.
This is what happens when you make shitty visual novels into an anime. It's a fucking shit show when it comes to that. Like, doesn't it have multiple endings?
It does.
It
has
one.
It has like 10
ending?
endings. It has like 10 or 5 to 10 endings or something like that. And I do agree they did pick the worst one, but honestly it made sense being like an anime, like, because no one's gonna like watch the other endings. No one's gonna watch that. No one.
My God.
All right, Paulo, you're up. Go.
Yeah. So. I'll just pick
Don't be like
the
School Days
juiciest
season
one.
2 is better.
We all know your Berserk.
So
take, so
now
don't
Berserk,
choose
I didn't
Berserk
even put it in there because that's not a juicy take anymore. So I personally think that Osamu Tezuka is overhyped.
Oh, he said the thing. Oh.
Oh no!
Listen,
I think
listen.
he has written so many amazing stories. Buddha, Phoenix, Blackjack, great stories. Astro
The
Boy.
Lion King.
But I have read several manga by him too that were terrible. And like, the dude is great. He set the precedent for what a lot of future generations are to do, and then they kept like
Well, all of the future generations.
pretty much like
basically.
in my opinion, he is the father of modern day manga. Like, he set a lot of precedents,
yeah.
and of course they've evolved the job and the medium, but he did a lot of amazing things to set up what we have and what we love today. But I think he is extremely overhyped. He is treated like a god in a lot of circles, but
Because he is.
no, he's
Because
this man cemented storytelling in manga. He made it mainstream before, when a time where manga was just seen as something for kids that would read in the newspaper in like a small little corner of the paper, and he cemented that, made stories, and actually rolled with that. Not only did he inspire a generation, he inspired multiple mangakas to rise, create their own stories, their own renditions of his own stories. That's the amount of impact he has.
no. I
Can you
I
at
don't
least, can you at
disagree.
least, like, I'm gonna so, like, but real quick, what mangas in particular, like, because I might agree with you on this, what mangas in particular do you think were not good that you read at Tezuka? Because he definitely has a couple of stinkers, but I want to hear what you think some of them are.
I'll have to look up the names because a lot of them are in Japanese.
What?
I said a lot of them are in Japanese. The main ones I've read that I loved were the ones I already like listed off. Let me go to my Mal real quick.
The
I'll
site
tell
is
you.
down, I think.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Man, that is not.
Base
poor time-
made
poor
sure
time for
to
you,
take
bud.
down Mal during this podcast.
Exactly.
I remember
Far
Prince Knight or something like that. I didn't like too much.
So Princess Knight, yeah, it's okay. It's not.
I didn't like Dororo, whatever.
What?
Dororo? Oh,
Dororo.
didn't
No.
someone...
It
Doro,
was
hey Doro.
like Dororo or whatever the
Oh,
fuck.
Dora Hidoro?
It-
That
it-
one?
No,
We all know
No,
what
it was
what?
by Osamu Tezuka. It was.
I don't fucking know.
It was. I don't know. It was.
Apollo,
okay.
I know what you're talking about. So
It was okay at best.
Here's the thing with that. So to respond to that, Dororo was a series that was serialized within the 60s, and it didn't kick off in 67. It didn't really do too well in shonen. It got canceled. For Neverworld took a look at it, and he said, like, this would have been the greatest thing ever if it wasn't canceled in 14 chapters. So they ended up making an anime, a 26-episode anime of it, fully adapting the story in what Tezuka wanted for his characters. And it worked better as an anime than it did a manga. And in fact, it was one of the most popular animes at the time, back in 1968. So I think one of the big problems with that one, of course, is the fact it got canceled, it got a rushed ending, and ultimately it didn't really turn out too well. But if you like samurai stuff, I think it's pretty good. But to agree with you on Princess Knight, I think that is another one of his works that are really kind of not, doesn't really hold up too well. He's got series like Unico, which is more of like a child manga. Astro Boy is sort of a play on similar themes with that. But Astro Boy, I think, is miles and leaps better. And he's got a lot of other individual stories that he's done, like Under the Air, Clockwork Apple, Captain Ken. He's got a whole list of works. I mean, this man had made, like, I can't tell you what exactly the number of mangas he has worked on, but I'm telling you, it is well in the hundreds. He's worked on so many different stories. He's bound to have at least some garbage in there. But overall, what does come out on top is the fact that he has had some great work that has inspired lots of people, even the likes of My Hero Academia.
Yeah, I think the one that you'll consider a hot take though, and I want to give him as much room as he needs, because I do love Osamu Tezuka. I just think he's overrated. But Mew, I thought was okay. I didn't really get it.
You said Mew?
MW, I think is what it's spelled.
MW. Mew. Yeah, I mean that's not one of his. It's another one of his weird work. I can understand. Like, again, we can go on and on about it, because like even mangakas like Inyo Asano, Girl on the Shore, can we all agree it sucks? Like, it's not good.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but
it's a weird porn.
He's made other stuff that is really good, and so I think with a lot of great mangakas, they just tend to have this backlash of where they have a few stinkers, but they have a really big plethora of a library of some really good titles and whatnot. But I didn't.
It's like how Horikoshi made a stinker like Barrage, but then he made a great series.
He's made nothing that is noteworthy in my eyes.
All right.
So moving on to Shrug, what is your take?
Is he still here? Didn't he leave?
Here. Yeah.
Oh no, he's here. Okay, good.
No. I talked for a while.
Oh,
yeah, he's been talking forever.
Yeah. I think Magi is super underrated.
That's
not a hot take.
That's not even a hot take.
Everyone who's read Manga.
Well, I'm sorry, okay? This is hard. When y'all texted earlier and said come up with your own hot takes, this is hard to come up with, okay? I only came up with 3 of them.
Was leading Shonen Sundays, man. Like, that was the number one manga in that
Okay,
magazine.
I didn't know that, alright? I didn't know that,
Of course,
okay?
now all they got is Conan, and Silver Spoon just ended, or Silver whatever it is. Same thing from the Full
they
Metal
always have
Alchemist
Takahashi.
person.
She has a new manga in there, and she's like their bestseller.
You see, while I thought My Hero was better than One Piece, I think Magi is like significant leagues above both, and like poops on them. So,
I do agree. I really need to finish Magi.
I just really don't care about Magi.
You do.
I think I'm not interested in hating it, and I'm not interested in reading it. So I think that kind of says something. It kind of falls into the middle of like mediocrity. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get around to it.
Here's the thing, though. So like, Osamu Tezuka's big thing was like.
No.
Hush! I'm getting to it. Damn it! I'm getting to it. His big thing was to try things and be happy, right? So why don't you try the things that we like that you just consider trash without actually trying them?
I just agreed. I said that I told you I had a bet that I'm gonna be reading My Hero Academia, but for the end of the year. That's something that I don't think any of you guys thought I was going to do. I've only read 2 volumes of the series. I plan on reading at least 10.
He's also gonna be. He's gonna be. Wait. I didn't know you were reading that much.
I'm gonna try.
Okay,
Hopefully I don't.
got this, man.
Hopefully I don't get
this.
sick from reading too much of it. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Shaman could die.
Think about
if he
it.
reads
I
too
could
much My Hero
die.
Academia.
Like, Apollo, do you not understand what is in your hands? You have blood on your hands.
Not really, because after the 3rd volume of My Hero Academia is where it starts to kick off, and it gets better at volume 6,
Shut up!
and
Don't
then again at volume 9.
Stop saying that.
It gets better.
I should just read Vigilantes by mistake and just pretend like I read My Hero Academia.
Watch Sky High.
Exactly.
Yeah, honestly,
You're
just
not
watch Sky
wrong.
High, and it would be the same.
It's like you can watch Sky High and then start at
Well,
volume.
Shrug,
20.
I think all of us collectively disagree with your take. I don't even know what to think of that.
Well, no, we all agree with the take. We just don't think it's a hot take.
Right.
Okay, well, I just didn't know that Magi was
it's
that
super
popular.
popular. I didn't even know that.
I didn't know that. I
I
didn't
would
know
say
that.
it is underrated, like now, because no one talks about it now that it's over and the anime's been out forever. I mean,
Well, I wasn't a fan of it when the anime first came out. I became a fan
now we're getting to the
think,
take. Finally.
Well, yeah, because I was not into anime at the time of anime or manga at the time that it aired. So I started reading it. I read like the first 2 volumes. I was like, this is super good. But then I didn't get any more of it until like 2 years after that. So I got into it at a late time, and maybe that's why people think. Maybe that's why I think that it's underrated, and that's why it's not because it's not popular, just because I didn't see anybody talking about it. And so
all right,
that's my fault.
See, when I was first,
drop some bars.
No, wait,
hang on. We're ending the bit.
Okay.
We got to get through this. Yer, what is your next take?
Oh man, this is okay. Let's see. I have the quintessential quintuplets is the best love story ever told.
Agreed, 100%.
Oh
100%
my
agreed.
god!
How many romance series have you read? Again, Geared.
Well, no, I'm not saying the best romance story in the manga. I'm saying of all time, like in all of fiction, like.
Even
What?
better.
Okay,
even
that
better
I don't
than
agree with.
Twilight. What are you talking about? Oh my god,
Sir,
Have you
Sir?
watched or have you read like
I've read the full manga.
anything
have
anything
you watched
other
Sky High?
than
he hasn't read Ranma
have you
1.5.
have you watched any Adam Sandler movie, dude?
Well, I've seen more than I'd like to admit. But,
I've read my fair share of romance manga, read my fair share of slice of life, read my fair share of actual adult romance manga, or novels, not the shitty housewife
See,
shit.
that's the thing.
But the
Gear
real-
has read nothing in comparison. He's read Orange, which sucks. All right.
First of all, Orange. Okay, so if we want to go with Orange real quick, so I don't remember her name, but I swear to God, if you had given that bitch,
Haru?
Naho.
whatever her
Naho.
name was,
Naho,
if you had
whatever.
given her a DIY, do it yourself, YouTube video on how to screw in a light bulb, she'd fucking break it because she doesn't. She is so fucking. I hate Orange so much.
Just like all the quintessential quintuplets girls.
Oh, not
Anyway.
Naho. That's her
No.
name because she is a fucking hoe.
So anyway, I've read a lot of romance. I've read a lot of slice of life. I do agree with Gear to some extent. Quintessential quintuplets is a very good teenage romance. It's not the best of all fiction, but it's in the top, I'd say, 50
Gear's a virgin,
of all
so
romance.
we already know all this. All right.
Well, Based would agree with me if he were here.
The
Good
base
thing
doesn't
he
matter.
isn't. I love it.
All right, Shaman, what's your last
All right,
take before we
this is
move
going to be
Twitter?
spicy. I think Berserk post Volume 16 is better than all of Vinland Saga.
Absolutely
combined.
not. Absolutely not.
Wait. Are you talking like
that's
all of
cringe.
Vinland Saga?
So Berserk
Yeah.
past
Oh.
Volume 16 is better than all of Vinland Saga combined.
That's even
like, if
worse
you
than
would've-
what I thought you was going
if
to
you would
say.
have said this like 2 years ago, then you wouldn't have had like so many people about to like jump on you because nobody knew what Vinland Saga was until it got an anime.
See,
but it's like
I would say
I get it.
I would say that like everything before like Berserk like Volume 16 is better than the whole farm arc of Vinland Saga. I enjoyed the farm arc, but
the farm.
yeah, but
Every quality manga needs a farm arc.
I mean,
Farm.
it
I
doesn't.
actually haven't read. I haven't
I-
watched the anime for Vinland Saga yet, and I
It was pretty
want
good.
to.
I haven't read like more than Volume 2 of Berserk, so like you could be right, Shaman. I don't know.
I wish I would have gotten Shrug when he just finished Volume 13. Then I would have gotten him on board with this take.
Yeah.
There's definitely a case to be made for Golden Age, but I mean after that, after Lost Children.
Here's the thing.
Really,
Hear my case out here real quick.
All right,
Okay,
all right.
so I think the artwork by far surpasses that of Vinland Saga, even in its best moments. I don't think Vinland Saga has trash art, and in fact, I don't think Vinland Saga is a trash manga. I think it's good. But I think Berserk, what it captures and what it captures well, not so much in its storytelling, but what keeps the series going, what keeps it from being what keeps it for being so memorable is the fact that its artwork continues to excel over a course of time. Granted, it's a very slow release series, so they got plenty of time to flesh out the panels and whatnot. Not to mention they got a full team. I don't know the specifics of Vinland Saga and what goes into it. I know it's a monthly series. I don't know how many people work on the series, but Kentaro Miura has a team of people that work on this series, and let me tell you, it truly shows because the artwork is beautiful. If you take a look at it, these pinups are something that just topple over Vinland Saga. But Vinland Saga has a very different style to it. It's instead of it being medieval and fantasy, it's more of like that Nordic, very kind of edgy vibe that it has going for it. It's very, very much, I'm trying to think of the word. Not edgy is not really the best word I want to use, but it's a very kind of a rough style that fits that Nordic nature of it. But I think as a whole, Berserk's art excels beyond Vinland. Story-wise,
that's my problem. Like the art, like yeah, sure, the art in Berserk's amazing, but I mean, story-wise, I'm like, yeah, after Lost Children, I'm like, I mean, it's fine,
same.
but I wouldn't like
Vinland Saga. So if we take all of Vinland Saga and compare it to post volume 16, so starting volume 17 and on of Berserk, even up to the latest volume, which I think is 39, 40, which I haven't read that far, but
yeah, it's 39 right now.
I've read up to 20 something, and I don't plan on reading any further. But everything that I've read of Berserk, except for like volume 3 to volume 14, is nowhere. It doesn't even touch Vinland Saga. Maybe the beginning of Vinland Saga, the first 3 volumes or so, maybe, but Farm Arc and then past Farm Arc, absolutely not. I cannot agree with that.
the level of detail, though, in the artwork is just...
I don't care about the artwork. I'm talking about the story right now.
See, that-
I agree with you.
There's
on the
definitely a
artwork.
case that the Baltic Sea War wasn't as good as the others, but I mean,
yeah,
still,
but
I'd
like,
still
so
put
like the
that above
artwork,
later
Berserk gets a 10 out of 10, 100%. I will agree with you on that. But the story for me, in comparison, like, I'm not even putting in my thoughts on the story, because if I was grading, it'd be a 4 out of 10. But
that should have been one of
grading
your
it
hot
as
takes.
well, everyone's heard it
well-
like 20 times, so we don't care anymore.
and you're still talking about it.
Literally, I love to talk about it because do you know how many reactions I get about my Berserk
we're
take
gonna
on a
hear them
daily
in the
basis?
comments section. But then again, you're
I
gonna
know.
hear a lot
Actually,
from me
we're
too.
gonna-
So
You guys don't know this, but before I had my Apollo Gray Twitter, I actually had another Twitter.
Called Apollo Black.
Oh God.
did he have a British accent?
Apollo Black. Can't do a fucking British accent.
Anyway, what were you saying?
He went dead on us.
Is he gone?
He went dead on
I
us.
think
He went dead on us. All right,
Apollo-
Twitter time.
Twitter time.
All right, so let's see here. We have from Beyond Eternity, gave us quite a few. That I think I disagree with all of them. So
I
that-
do
that's
too.
fun.
I haven't even seen.
He started saying Astra Lost in Space is predictable.
What?
He says
What?
that the Promised Neverland goes to crap after the first arc.
Hold on. Wait a second. Like, I probably like Astra more than anyone I've ever talked to.
Okay, I'm
who
back.
was
Hold
also
on.
in the
Let me
series.
finish my thought.
What?
No, Apollo, we're done. We moved
ended
on.
the bit.
No. Let me finish my damn thought. Hold on. So
But Apollo,
just
we
have
all
a
know you hate
stroke?
Berserk.
no. This is not me hating Berserk. I promise.
Oh my god.
But
I just.
actually, I do want to say this. So before I had my Apollo Gray Twitter, you guys know how I lost my Apollo Gray Twitter to the bleach cuts. I actually lost my original Twitter to the Berserk cuts. They mass reported me, and I got banned on my Twitter just like I did on my bleach. But anyway, so if I'm grading Berserk on merit alone and what it has done, how it's written, because like my feelings towards it have nothing to do with the story. It's how it's written
What?
and what
Oh
it
my
includes.
god.
I don't like seeing rape in my manga. That was a huge hit for
Is
me.
there rape in Vinland Saga though?
There's rape in Vinland
is.
Saga.
There is, but it's not at the same level at
What?
all.
I mean,
that's another
so are
reason
you
why I
saying that
stopped
some
reading
rape
Lobel
is
Blatt.
better than other rape?
No, just shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
Shut up for a minute.
No.
So, if I'm not putting my personal feelings into Berserk, it would easily be an 8.5 out of 10. Because the story is fantastic.
Well, I mean,
It really is.
was.
But my feelings impede on that. So, even with my non-biased judgment on the story, I still think Vinland Saga is better.
sure. All right, can we
But
move to
just
Twitter
barely.
now?
All right, we need to get
'Cause we
to
were in the
Twitter
middle of Twitter.
combat. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead
All
and
right.
do that.
So
Let's
yeah, this guy, he said I was really interrupted when I was defending my baby Astrolost in space. This guy said it was predictable. I mean, I didn't guess any of the twists, so what am I, an idiot?
I've never
so
read
does that-
Astra, and I have no desire
Yeah,
to.
same.
So
Well, I love it. Anyway, then he says the Promised Neverland goes to shit after the first arc.
I kind of
Now,
agree with that. I dropped it after Volume 5, so
Well,
I only read the first arc.
That's immediately after the first arc, so yeah. I think
So.
it's a lot more common to say, because a lot of people don't like the final arc, which has been a bit of a mess, and they don't know how to end it really. But I would say, to me, like the second major arc, Goldie Pond, is just as good as the first arc for me. So, you know. But although I think most people agree that it does peak really early. Anyway, then we have two takes about Death Note. One from Ash, who says it was so boring he couldn't finish it.
Oh no.
And one from Manga, who says Death Note's second half was good. So,
well, dang, we just skipped over
Death
Beyond
Note.
Eternity's other two takes that he said.
Oh, yeah,
I wanted
geez,
to
I
address
completely
that.
forgot.
Attack on Titan was never good.
Yeah, I want to. No,
I completely forgot of
What?
sorry, man. Yeah, anyway, yeah, Attack on Titan was never good. There's a take.
no.
So I have to. Okay, so when I first had my channel up, one of my first ever videos was how I hated Attack on Titan. I have vastly changed that opinion. I love Attack on Titan. now.
Garbage series you've ever even laid eyes on. Damn.
No. I fell in love with it. Like it was like during quarantine too when I watched it because I was bored. I'm like, oh, okay. There's 2 seasons on.
The
Let's
beginning, if we're not
watch it.
considering the anime and we're just talking about the manga, holds up extremely poorly. Like the first couple of volumes of Attack on Titan are shit. Like they're not good. But if you take a look at how it is now with the artwork and then the story and where it's at and how it was, I would say it's a tough start, but you give it some time, you can get into it.
Yeah, it's one of those series that, like, back when the anime was huge, like, a lot of people were like, oh, this is overrated trash, but now, like, those same people are like, oh, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Oh well, the only reason why I hated it was Armin. That's the whole reason why I hated that series was Armin.
But then Armin becomes a great character. So.
Yeah, he becomes a really good character, and I loved it. Like what he did at the end, or I guess to like
What hasn't
season
been?
3
Oh,
was
okay.
good.
I thought you were caught up with the manga.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah, he's a
no.
Chad
I
now.
want to read the manga so bad, but like I'm so invested in the anime, I don't think I would have that
Yeah.
same like connection.
Wait a
you
second.
know?
Did Gear just say Armin was a chode?
No, I said a Chad.
Oh.
not a chode.
He is a Chad. Oh, I watched that
He's a
video.
cholo. Alright.
He's a freaking Chad.
And then Vagabond is good,
He's
but
a
not a
cholo.
masterpiece. I mean,
I think it
artistically,
would've-
like you lost me, buddy.
Yeah, no.
but-
Artistically, it's 11 out of 10. 100%.
But
It's the best art I've ever seen. If it had a manga ending, I would consider it a masterpiece. But because it hasn't ended, I'm gonna have to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I can't give it that masterpiece level.
I think the problem with this
Oh, yeah.
comment is that he's not really criticizing Vagabond. He's just saying it's not a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Which
that's-
yeah. I
yeah.
mean, I'm fair with that. I'm cool with moving on.
But
Skypiea
his
is
next
the
take,
best arc in
yeah.
One Piece. Now this
Delete that
is
comment.
a shit
What?
take.
Delete that comment
This
right
is
now.
a shit take. If you think Skypiea is peak One Piece, you are mentally unstable, okay?
Especially because it's right before
The
Water
pacing-
7. Like,
Exactly.
The
hello?
pacing of not Water 7, but the pacing of Skypiea is awful. Like, the first 2 volumes are
Yes.
spent trying to get there. The next 3 are setting up the villains, except for Eneru, which is like the best villain of all
And
of
the tournament
Skypiea.
arc.
All the other villains in that are introduced suck and just have no purpose. And then the ending of Skypiea, which I don't care about spoilers for Skypiea. It's been out for like 20 years. Skypiea is literally, the purpose of it is to read a glyph or GIF of a wall and move forward in the story. That is literally all Skypiea is. The build up, the hype, and finally, once it gets to the climax, is read a wall. Oh, it says something from Gold Roger. Okay, cool, let's go. Like that is the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like I don't think that they I can't think of anything in particular that was brand new. That was like when Nico Robin just joined the crew, and then I don't remember her really doing much because that was supposed to happen in Water 7.
Yeah, they needed something
so I don't
useful
think that, like,
for her to do.
Nothing of importance happened during that arc other than Robin being like, "Oh my gosh, it's a poneglyph," and then that's about it.
Terrible take.
Anyway,
I'll be honest. I'll be honest, I don't even, besides the main boss fight with Enil, or whatever his name was, I don't even remember what happened in Skypiea.
Screaming, electrocution, and trying moments, and Gold Roger lore. That's about the only thing that I can tell you happened in Skypiea.
Excuse you, Gold D. Roger.
Gold D. Roger.
Gold D. Roger, alright? Get out of here.
Alright. Continuing the comments. Death Note was so boring, I couldn't finish it. I mean, I honestly I'm not going to flip out over that. I can understand where people are coming from. If you're not a fan of psychological thriller, then that's probably something that's not going to be your cup of tea. Like, Death Note is not at all everybody's cup of tea. Because for a shonen, for one thing, to have a shonen where there's barely any fighting, okay, where the main character literally just sits behind a desk writing in a book the whole entire time. It's very surprising that it was able to capture people's attention for that long and still be as successful. Like, the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine has continued to surprise me over the years with the amount of just weird things that keep getting introduced, and it just sticks. But I can understand why people think Death Note's not good, so... And, of course, the next comment, Death Note's second half was good, which, going with the first comment, no, it's not.
No, it's not. No. I'm sorry.
I actually, I don't mind it.
I mean,
Get out.
You can, but do you think that it's, like, really good? As good as the first part?
Oh God, no. I mean, like, it's definitely, it pales in comparison
Exactly.
to the start.
I can see why they would like it though, and I can explain after Gear's done.
No, we don't have enough time.
Okay.
All right. So continuing rapid fire. Okay, we'll save the last one for last. I want to tackle these top comments here, the latest ones. Mate on Twitter. First thing, he's got a couple of them. Weekly Shonen Jump doesn't have a single good battle shonen.
Running.
Yeah,
running.
No, I like to end it right there, not at the running, because that would just be the ultimate. Like, it doesn't. It never had a single good battle shonen. Okay. I mean, he's probably right. There aren't any battle shonens going on right now, right?
Oh, really? Because My Hero Academia is
I'm looking at them now, I'd say the ones I really like are like One Piece, My Hero, Chainsaw Man, and I'd even say Demon Slayer, just based on the final arc. But that's about to end.
Yeah. Vagabond is better than Berserk by a long shot. Okay, I agree.
I know a lot of people like
Jujutsu
Kaisen, and then there's like Black Clover.
FMA still to this day the best shonen out there. Ashita no Joe is close.
What the frick is Ashita no Joe?
Not your average Joe. It's a boxing manga that literally inspired the shonen battle trope.
Okay.
Like,
I've seen memes from that.
But it was very
I've seen
good.
memes from this anime.
But yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees on FMA being one of the best ones.
Ashita no Joe is good, so that's a fair take. Seinen equals auto good manga.
No, I think he's
true. He's
saying like it doesn't equal, because that's what the slash is for.
Oh, then I agree.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I agree too. I've read a lot of bad seinen, just like I read a lot of bad shonen.
And then he says a lot of text doesn't equal good writing. I think Samurai 8 is the best example for that.
First of all, Bakuman is a thing, so that's definitely not true.
Let's go.
Hunter x Hunter.
No, he's saying
it's great. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Well, no, he's saying it doesn't always it. Just because you have a lot of text doesn't mean it's automatically good.
Yeah.
But,
no, that's fair.
Why don't you finish these thoughts when you're actually saying it?
Golden Kamuy is not gay like people say. It is just a homie adventure.
I agree.
Who thinks it's gay?
Golden Kamuy is actually fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, who's
it's
saying
it's
that?
a big.
Are they saying that the?
A lot of
maybe
people.
this guy.
Well, it's like
is?
the same reason people say JoJo is gay, although JoJo
But
is.
JoJo,
but
I
that's
can
not even
see an
close to the
argument,
same.
but
I mean-
like Golden Kamuy is pretty manly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how anyone can argue that it's gay.
Yeah. What's more gay than manly men?
Well,
Manly men
You
just
know.
posing.
Yeah, you know.
got him.
Yeah, I'm looking up pictures now. There's like a. Oh yeah, this is pretty homoerotic.
JoJo
here.
is not
Anyway,
homoerotic.
continuing
Alright.
on. Next one. We don't agree with it. So continue
Clannad
on.
is not sad. It's very funny, actually. Dr. Stone
I disagree.
is
Hold
very
on.
boring.
I think I cried more at Clannad than I did
Well,
with any.
You say
Maybe this person's
You're
making
right.
fun of the fact that Clannad is trash, and he's just saying that.
What?
it's
This
more
is
funny.
Josh.
Taz, don't
Th-
even
th-
start with it.
Okay,
This is
okay.
Josh,
Alright,
by
next
the way.
one
He's
Dr.
on my server.
Stone
You
is
can add
very,
him.
very boring with just 2 interesting characters, dumb plot points, and bad pacing.
I
Did
agree.
you post that one?
I agree with that one actually.
No, I didn't post
Wait,
it.
what?
Joff did.
This is Joft. Yeah, this is Joft.
But I mean, I kind of
think-
agree. Dr. Stone has really gone downhill for me. It's pretty boring. It's not really that
The
good.
art in the
haven't-
anime is terrible. I can't.
Yeah, I
watch
haven't.
It.
Oh yeah, the anime
don't
looks
know.
bad, but I really
This guy
like it,
cannot
so
draw
whatever.
women.
Um,
I don't know what it is, but he.
I know, right? They look like,
I feel like-
it looks like the sloth from Ice Age, doesn't it?
Damn. Ooh, that sucks.
All right. Let's see. What
That's
else am
my-
I missing? Manga is a better experience than anime. Even the great adaptions like Monster, Haikyuu, Full Metal, Bear Stars, and so on.
That
Why did he
goes-
put B stars with like Full Metal Alchemist and Monster? What
So,
the heck?
You know,
Number one,
Beastars
that
is
is brain
great.
dead. Number two,
What?
delete that comment.
the funny
see,
thing is with those specific ones, I do agree. Actually, the manga is a lot better than the animes except for Full Metal Alchemist and Haikyuu. But other than Monster and Beastars, yeah, the
The
manga.
only
better.
time an argument can be made here is like when you're comparing a series that began as an anime and then became a manga, or a manga that became an anime. And also, too, a lot of it has to do with like OST and which you read or what you watched first. Like Mushishi anime is better than the manga, even though the manga came first. Like I would agree that the anime is better. Should have used that as an example,
I agree.
but didn't. These are like piss poor examples you got here, Joff. Come on now.
And like Haikyuu,
Yeah, I think-
like Haikyuu's anime is fantastic, but the art detail in the manga is so much better.
I just like because it's like a sports series. I like how they all move around and it's all Sakuga.
It's more
fun.
dynamic. But Ping Pong was a manga first, so you know.
And Ping Pong is getting a physical release in the West. Go get it.
Anyway, the last thing Joff says is that Billy Bat is the best Urasawa.
Well, in the
manga.
words of the great Base Senpai, to move on with this, it didn't get an English release. So continuing forward.
Exactly. I actually own the first 3 volumes in Japanese, and I can confirm that no, it is not the best.
All right.
we at the last one now? Is this the last
yes, the last comment. What the fuck is a
perfect.
Shigaraki?
Shigaraki. That's the main villain in My Hero Academia.
Oh God. Ugh.
Oh, Shigaraki. I don't agree. with that.
Shaman
Shigaraki,
didn't even
top
know what
5
this was.
anime villains. Well, first off, fuck My Hero in anime. Like, fuck, this is manga alert.
I don't agree with that at all, actually.
You know, even though I think like we went on a big long tirade about how he becomes a great character, I mean, I wouldn't put him that.
Honestly,
high.
Stain is one of the. I would say Stain is a top 5.
Well,
anime
first of
villains
all,
for me.
we have
Oh,
7 of the
okay.
sins.
What?
We have 7 of the sins in Full Metal Alchemist, and at least 3 of those can take a spot higher than Shigaraki. So
like
Are
Envy
you talking
or
about the 7 deadly sins?
no, get out.
no,
Delete
not
yourself
that
from this
one.
chat again.
be glad not to see that
I
manga on
wouldn't,
the top 10 list this year. That's all I'm gonna say.
Watch it be on that or on there.
I don't think it will be. Like it wasn't on there last
No,
year.
it wasn't.
It won't be on there this
Also,
Anyway,
it's
so-
weird because if he says anime, like if he's only talking about the My Hero anime, like Shigaraki's barely
Exactly.
done anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Have they
so
gotten
far.
to the?
So
Yeah.
it's like what?
This season was the overhaul arc, right?
And it went from the overhaul arc to when Endeavor fights the
Yeah.
the
So
big
like
high-end
Shigaraki
Momo.
is only just now starting to get really solid development, and he hasn't even hit his development arc.
well barely. Like it's mostly all in
Yeah.
the villain arc.
And like the only development he's
So-
gotten is stuff we found out from other people. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
like
I
he's
think
barely
it's
done
appropriate to end it here today, guys. Thank you all once again for joining us here at Manga Alert. We're still going to be cracking out these coronavirus casts because pretty much we have nothing else to do. So thank you all for joining us. Take it easy and have an awesome one. Thank you.
See you in 2 seasons.
bye, guys.